Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey, and that is the Tesla Model X's worst nightmare, because that is a competently built, solid, comfortable, luxurious 3-row electric SUV from Mercedes-Benz in the 2023 Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV 580. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why you might want to consider this over your next Tesla purchase. So, starting up front with the hood, there's nothing to pop and show underneath the hood because there's nothing underneath the hood. In fact, consumers can't even open this hood because that's where Mercedes hides all their air filtration stuff. There's no frunk, there's no engine back there, there's nothing for us to do or get to underneath there, so no need to open it up. And that adds to the aerodynamic abilities and features of this vehicle, making it one of the most aerodynamic that Mercedes makes, much like the EQS sedan we tested earlier here on the channel. And like that EQS sedan we tested earlier on this channel, the design is very similar, just stretched taller. So you get a big, bold, brash Mercedes logo here in the grille, surrounded by a bunch of smaller ones. This doesn't let air through because no air needs to get through. All of that goes towards cooling down here underneath the big grille, but again, no engine back there to cool or need to cool with that big grille. You do get adaptive LED lights that, as the name implies, turn when you turn the vehicle. They are the digital light. They will project very cool images when you start the vehicle up and when you turn it off. Really like these headlights. And then you get this LED light bar that runs the entire width of the front of the vehicle, giving this a very unique presence coming down the road. Looking down below those headlights, you do get a functional air curtain around the front of the vehicle here. So all of this, while it may not be venting, does help get air out and around the front of this vehicle, again contributing to making this one of the most aerodynamic vehicles that Mercedes-Benz makes. And that comes in handy when you're talking about an all-electric vehicle. The EQS sedan has a 420-ish mile range, this being bigger, heavier, and a little less aerodynamic. The 450 version, which is the entry level, is somewhere north of 370 miles of range. This one is just north of 300, which is still very impressive for a 7-seat 3-row SUV. And this thing will charge up to 200 kilowatts. So DC fast charging is no problem. It can go from 10 to 80% in a Mercedes claimed about 31 minutes. Now, everybody wants to know power and acceleration on something like this. So we are in the 580 model, which is the faster one, and that means it has 536 horsepower and 633 pound-feet of torque. This thing will scoot down the road and it makes for a very fun and exhilarating ride when driving it and when riding as a passenger. Speaking about riding in it and driving it, we get these Goodyear tires. They are very thick, sidewalled here, as you can see. So it is a very large wheel and then a very thick sidewall. So these are 275/45 21-inch tires. And I really appreciate how they are not just a rubber band sidewall, that you actually get quite a bit of sidewall to help with the ride and handling of this vehicle. You can see back behind there, this does have an adaptive air ride suspension with adjustable height. So the suspension is doing a lot, but so are the tires. So kudos to Mercedes-Benz for not just giving you a rubber band and giving you a rough ride because of it. They actually give you some meat on those tires, and I would imagine that also helps with traction and acceleration, things of that nature, but it all translates to a very comfortable, competent ride. You can see the aerodynamic shape carries around here to the side, very sleek proportions to it, very nondescript. It's not the most look at me vehicle on the road, and that's again because designers have really let aerodynamics do a lot of the work on this vehicle. They really wanted it to be sleek and slippery going down the road. You may be thinking that this is the charge port right here. You would be wrong. Since we cannot open the hood, this is actually where you pour the windshield washer fluid, and that's how you get in there. Just to let everybody know you are in an EQS, you get that little badge there. But speaking of the aerodynamic-ness of the side, you get these door handles that Mercedes is putting on most of their vehicles here lately that do retract into the side of the vehicle when the vehicle is locked, but do pop out when you press on them. Now it's not going to do it for me. Lock it, unlock it, there we go. They do pop out when the vehicle is unlocked and allow you to get in. So that is a nice feature right there. And then retract for more aerodynamic stability. And then a very cleaned up design back here in the back. Again, full width LED taillight back here. The lights have shut off on me. You know, electric cars, they just never do exactly what you want to on it. But a very cool, clean look back here. Again, not the most exciting vehicle on the road, but it is a very interesting one to look at. I really like just these big wide hips on the back here. You can see the curve on top of the wheel well right there. Kind of gives a nice aggressive look to the side profile and the back of this vehicle. No exhaust because, of course, no emissions in this electric vehicle. And you may be wondering, okay, well, where is the rear hatch release? Where is the mandatory rear camera? All of that is underneath this Mercedes badge. So you can see power lift gate, you just push on that and it opens up. This is a 3-row with 50-50 two-person split bench rear seat. I've got this additional rear cargo mat back here. We'll talk more about that in just a moment, but we'll go ahead and close that down. Just over 7 cubic feet of cargo space behind there, but I did want to show you here that that is actually where your rear camera is as well. So when you put this in reverse, that logo does pop out, and the camera will give you a good view of the vehicle, or behind the vehicle, I should say. This is where you will see your storage bag for your charging cable. And then there is actually a false load floor back here. So you get your retractable cargo cover back here and some additional goodies back there. There is actually a hook that you can latch right up here so that you can get behind there and access that. But we'll spend a little bit more time here in just a moment. I'm actually gonna push this up out of the way and hit the power close button now that everything is actually out of the way. And we will do a quick tour of the inside. Now, this being the 580, this is the top trim. So we get Mercedes-Benz Hyperscreen, and I'm gonna go ahead, fire this thing up, and show you everything that this massive 3-element screen can do. So you can see we do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in this. It is all wireless. We have just over a 12-inch digital gauge cluster back here, massive head-up display, and then a passenger screen that I cannot do anything on right now because there's nobody sitting in this seat. So that can actually be the co-pilot seat, and you can send everything from navigation, you can change the climate, you can set the massage seat, you can do a lot of stuff from over there, all of which you can also do over here as well through comfort settings, things like that, but we will get more into that here in just a little bit. A very intense electronic setup here in this vehicle. You can, of course, control all of that from the capacitive touch here on both sides of the steering wheel. And I don't know if you can see those red lights flickering right there, but those are actually eyeballs staring back at me to ensure that I am not watching that screen over there. So if somebody were in the passenger seat watching a movie, Mercedes does recommend that they wear these Mercedes-Benz branded Bluetooth headsets so as not to distract the driver. And then if I were to look over there and those flashing lights would see me,
How may I help?
look over there, she heard me say her name, the video over here would pause so that I could focus more on driving as I should be doing. I did mention this does have a massive head-up display with augmented reality, and I'll go ahead and put some B-roll over of just how awesome that is in operation. And then you can see the lighting in this is intense. So we've got this big LED light strip that basically runs the width of the front cabin here, and you can change that as you are becoming more and more accustomed with Mercedes products. The vents light up. You can see there's lighting underneath the hyper screen all the way around here. There's this lighting here on the door. There's lighting around the front seats here. There's even lighting around my seatbelt buckle receiver so that I can find that in the dark. There's lighting underneath here in the storage compartment. There's lighting underneath this fully wooden panel cover that I just absolutely love, and we'll get more into that in just a second. So there is a lot going on up here. Heated, massaging, 3-person memory front seats, both of them, so the passenger seat has that as well. Very soft quilted Napa leather, these removable pillows, and say hi to Tucker back there playing on his iPad. But you can see the rear seats get them as well on the outboard. So there is a lot going on up front up here. More of that wood trim here on the doors. It is just immaculate here in the Mercedes-Benz EQS 580. And I always forget to say EQS SUV because Mercedes is in a bit of a pickle with their naming. So this is the EQS SUV. We do have capacitive touch here for the massive 2-panel panoramic roof. So we'll go ahead and give that a close just because the sun is coming down on us, and we'll make it just a little more nighttime lit here in the Mercedes-Benz. We do get a split center console here for storing things, and I already showed you that's where the headphones are currently stored. Here is your start-stop button. This is actually how you turn the vehicle on. It's how you also access the parking cameras, which the camera system, the 360 camera system in this is absolutely amazing. And look, you can even see I'm on the brake, I'm off the brake, on the brake, off the brake. So just small touches that really make this thing very impressive. I am in a silver one, so this one is silver. The wheels match. I don't know how much of that changes based on what vehicle I actually have, but I can tell you that's actually what my EQS looks like. You've got your quick access button here to most of your controls. You've got your EQ button here that tells you all your readouts. So you can see 302 miles at 94% charge, which is not bad at all. And you can do all your charging stuff there. And then you've got your radio power button, your mute, your volume controls. That's not a slider. You actually had to click it on one side or the other. And then your dynamic drive modes. So you can see we've got sport, we've got individual, we've got comfort, we've got eco, and then we've got off-road, which again, going back to that adaptive suspension, this does actually raise the ride height and do a lot of work to make this thing a capable and competent off-roader. And then I will come over here to the driver information screen here. There's even an off-road mode here on the gauge cluster, which tells me everything from pitch and roll, my ride height, and how we are tracking there with the ride height. You can see I'm still creeping up higher and higher right here, but very informative gauges up here. My wheels are turned at 33 degrees here, so just very informative off-road gauges here in this EQS. You can see I can also toggle through driver assistance, so it tells me how my driver assistance stuff is working. If I want to use Google Maps, I can do that. Classic, which is what I had it on, sport or understated. I'm just going to put it back on classic. I can also change that head-up display and everything that it displays for me right here. I really like this augmented reality. But again, you saw there is indeed an off-road mode on that as well, which takes advantage of the HUD head-up display's full height. This screen is absolutely massive. I cannot believe how big it is and how much information is communicated to you on that screen. There are some drawbacks for me on this one. The rear view mirror is just a standard rear view mirror, and if that center seat headrest is folded up into place, it actually blocks your view pretty good back there. So kind of a cramped rear view in this vehicle. But let's move back to that middle row seat and see what it's like sitting behind myself at 5'10". So you can see I've got my seat where I would like it. I'm going to leave this door open just so the vehicle doesn't turn off on me. Which brings me to, as I climb in here, we've had this during December. It's been rainy, it's been gross. This white color comes with white carpeted floor mats. And you can see just how quickly and easily those get dirty. Perhaps one of my biggest nitpicks on this. This does have child seat anchors on the outboard seats, but we get more into that in our family review, where I actually installed Tucker's child seat right there. But I promised getting in behind myself. So here I am sitting in the second row right behind myself, plenty of room. You can see I've got climate controls back here, some rose gold accents, just like up front on the HVAC. So I really like the rose gold there. I've got a B-pillar mounted vent here as well, which I really like. Pull the door closed and I've got wood accents back here. I've got a power adjustable seat here. I've got a heated outboard seat, more of that ambient lighting, more of that rose gold. I didn't even touch on the blue Napa leather that wrapped the dash that complements this cream colored interior. I really like this interior aside from the floor and the floor mats. Burmester sound, so much going on back here. I mentioned those air vents. You've got two USB slots down here, and then full down center armrest with a Qi wireless charger right in there. Center console with a little bit of storage in there. Then I can fold that back up, and you can see there's that headrest that you really need to fold down if you want some additional space or view. And then you've got two cup holders that pop out of the front right here. So very versatile right there. The seat back is actually 40-20-40 split, and you can fold it down completely and see into the back row back there. But I'm gonna fold that down and pop back there myself, show you exactly what it is like to sit in the third row behind myself here at 5'10" and myself there at 5'10". So we will pop the door open here, and then coming around there is an electronic latch here. You just pull up on that and it folds the 60-40 seat forward, and you can see it moves it well out of the way. Interesting side note though, you see it moved my front seat forward as well. So nobody better be sitting in the front when you are trying to get someone in the very back, because this does it to both driver and passenger seats. And I can speak from experience, it does not matter if someone is sitting in those seats, it will still move that seat forward. So hopefully Mercedes can fix that in a software update, because we know that the vehicle knows someone is sitting up there, and you can see just how far the seat goes forward. Whoa, I can't afford that song. I cannot afford those music rights. What happens when you're filming on the fly here? But you can see nice access to that two-person 50-50 split rear bench seat. You can see behind Tucker, his seat is all the way back. Not much leg room there. These are inboard seats, so it is a little bit narrower than the third row is, but I can say I've ridden back here. Tucker and I have both ridden back here, sat side by side, but you can see headroom is a little tight for someone who is 5'10", but you know, it'll do. It's definitely a spot for kids. You can see when the seats are folded, these do have places to hide the seat belts. This is where if you wanted to put the rear cargo shade in, you could do that. But we do have padded armrests right here that have a little bit of give to them, and some USB ports over here and over here. So 2 seats back here, but 4 USB-C ports in the back, which is a nice touch. Now you're probably wondering, what is it like when I put the seat back? Now, it won't go back fully like I had it, so I've still got plenty of room back here, and that front seat has moved back where I had it, but I can hold this button here and instantly crunch myself. And the vehicle knew and adjusted accordingly to the fact that I'm sitting back here. So you can see the difference between Tucker's seat and where this seat is. I can ride back here. I did ride back here behind my dad, who is around the same height as me, behind Holly, who is 5 foot, back driving up there. So it can be done. You can get 7 people in here, even with a car seat. Like I said, Tucker was riding back here with me. But this back seat is definitely not the most comfortable. This is definitely a bonus seat. Mercedes-Benz does offer a 5 seat only version, so you can delete this rear seat, because let's go back to the back now that we've talked about the seats back here and see what the storage capacity is actually like when we fold those seats down. So again, you can access the rear hatch just like that. You would be surprised, as I was, these are not power folding rear seats. So they are manually folding, and you have to push that button to release the headrest before you flip the seat forward. But now we have 28 cubic feet over the 7 cubic feet that were in there. Before, you could get 31 cubic feet if you got the 5 seat only and deleted that rear seat right there. But yeah, very comfortable vehicle for 6, but definitely a better 5-seater than a 6 or 7-seater. And you can see quite a bit of cargo space back behind here now that we've removed those rear seats, and can kind of get back here and access and show you a little bit better what's underneath here, show you this nifty little hook that Mercedes gives you so that you can truly get in here. Again, you've got your cargo shade, and I already took out the spacers in there, so I can't put that in for you on a whim, but just wanted to show you exactly what that was like. She heard me talking to her again, but let's close this hatch up and see what she's like on the road. So I've long held that electric vehicles really make great luxury vehicles because they are smooth, they are quiet, they are very competent in what they do, and that is no exception here in the 2023 Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV. They are quick, they will accelerate very quickly, but let's put her into sport mode. Let's do a little bit of brake torque. Oh my goodness! So, definitely not the quickest vehicle that I've ever been in, not the quickest electric vehicle with its 500 plus horsepower, 600 plus pound-feet of torque. But again, they're better as luxury vehicles. I already talked about the adaptive suspension in this one. I already talked about the sidewalls on the tires. All of that with the added low weight of the batteries underneath the floor of this vehicle just make it an all-around very, very comfortable vehicle. And the fact that this is a Mercedes-Benz means it is built so much better than a Tesla. And Tesla build quality, that's either something you care about or you don't. But getting in here, this thing is solid. It is well built, premium materials everywhere. I already talked about how soft the leather is, even here on the steering wheel. Fortunately, the steering wheel is not heated, which is kind of a weird omission, I think, when you've got heated, ventilated, massaging seats, but that's what we've got, and that's what we're working with here on this EQS SUV. That said, it hasn't really needed it, so it maintains a equilibrium of temperature very well, so that does a very good job. I already mentioned the head-up display and how much I like that. And the gauges in here are very easy to read. Everything just works as a luxury vehicle quite well. This thing is great to pilot down the road, and because of Mercedes-Benz user experience, or MBUX, you can say things like, "Hey Mercedes, turn on my massage seat."
I'm switching on the massage for you.
And again, that isn't an electric vehicle exclusive, but it just adds to the luxury of an already luxurious vehicle. This thing is supremely comfortable and quiet going down the road, and now I'm getting a massage as I drive down the road as well. This thing makes driving in traffic a breeze, which as an electric vehicle does have recuperation on the brake system in this. So depending on how you drive and how you prefer to drive, you can adjust the regeneration of the battery power through your braking. So every time you start the vehicle, it's in normal mode. But you've got these two metallic paddles, actual metallic paddles on the back of the steering wheel, and you can adjust that from normal to nothing with the plus, or over with the minus, go to strong, which is really more of a true one pedal drive mode, or you can hold the minus and it goes to my favorite, which is intelligent, and that allows you to coast in normal traffic, but it uses the adaptive cruise control sensors to note if there's somebody in front of you, it'll start braking for you. So it's braking for me right now. I'm not using cruise control. I'm not doing anything like that. It's just using the sensors and knows that there's a vehicle in front of me. So it's putting battery from my, or energy back into the battery from that stopping power. You know, transfer, kinetic, potential energy, all that good stuff. Really just a tremendous vehicle to drive down the road. So comfortable, so well built. The sound system is great. We already sampled it a little bit, but unfortunately, again, I can't afford the copyright on it, so you'll just have to stick with that. Again, this hyperscreen is immense and massive. I can't even show you what's going on over there, but I do show you in our family review because I'm riding shotgun while Holly drives. So if you want to check out more about the hyperscreen, go watch our family review and be sure you're subscribed so you see that when it drops later this week. Oh my goodness, this thing is fast. Another fun thing about electric vehicles is their instant torque, no matter your speed, because there's just no need for the transmission to downshift or the engine to rev up or any of that. You just push the pedal and go. So this is an immensely fun vehicle all the way around, very luxurious, and even smells wonderful in here thanks to the fragrance and the ionization of the air conditioning system. So yes, you can buy fragrances that go in a spot in the glove box and pump through the HVAC system to give you just a pleasant smell all the time here in this Mercedes-Benz. Truly a luxury vehicle. Well, there you have it, gearheads, at $148,000 estimated, because it is about $2,000 more than the EQS sedan on which it's based. This EQS SUV is quite a vehicle indeed, and would give the Tesla Model X a run for its money. With conventional back doors, seating, 4/7, very comfortable, very luxurious, and some very nice touches, including off-road mode, four-wheel steering, which we didn't even really get to talk about the maneuverability of that four-wheel steering system, and just everything else that makes this truly the Mercedes-Benz of electric SUVs. This really is an excellent vehicle and would make anyone in the market for a luxurious electric vehicle very happy. In fact, it would make anyone that is in the market for a luxurious vehicle very happy, because with over 300 miles of range, this thing is very competent as just an everyday vehicle. If you want to see more from us here at the channel and see what we're doing, maybe see what we're driving before it is uploaded here, be sure and find us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I think I got them all in there. all at GT Garage Talk. And definitely be sure to follow along, subscribe, whatever you had to do. Click all the buttons down below so that you don't miss our next review when it drops. But as for me here at GT Garage Talk, until next time, bye.